We're taught in medical school that vaccines reduce the incidence rate of smallpox or polio. One of the things that's missing in medical education is that they're not the only thing that play a role as to whether or not diseases come and go. Today, what I'd like to talk about is the rationale of vaccines. There was an article in Pediatrics Journal, which is the Bible journal of the American Academy of Pediatrics, and this article looked at child mortality rates by age at death in the United States between 1900 and 1998. And you see all the death rates of these diseases actually came down before the DPT was licensed in 1949 and the measles vaccine was introduced in 1963. So what is it that actually helped? State and local health departments implemented public health measures and public education about hygienic practices. Thus, vaccination does not account for the impressive declines in mortality seen in the first half of the century. There's more information to actually understand that vaccines may not be responsible for the things that we're taught that they are responsible for.
This is an excerpt from the IOM's report, right?
Yes.
Can you read the causality conclusion with regard to whether DTaP and Tdap cause autism?
The evidence is inadequate to accept or reject a causal relationship between diphtheria toxoid, tetanus toxoid, or acellular pertussis containing vaccine and autism.
So the IOM reviewed the available evidence with regard to whether Tdap or DTaP can cause autism, and their conclusion was the evidence doesn't exist to show whether DTaP or Tdap do or do not cause autism, correct?
Yes.
If you don't know whether DTaP or Tdap cause autism, shouldn't you wait until you do know, until you have the science to support it, to then say that vaccines do not cause autism?
Do I wait? No, I do not wait, because I have to take into account the health of the child.
And so for that reason, you're okay with telling the parent that DTaP, Tdap does not cause autism, even though the science isn't there yet to support that claim?
Absolutely.
I'm going to look at some of the concerns. I've heard some parents claim that measles vaccine can cause brain inflammation known as encephalitis. Is that true? Is that true?
Brain inflammation, encephalitis?
Encephalitis. Can measles vaccine cause encephalitis? The vaccine?
The vaccine, no.
There's no cases of it?
El gobierno pone una ley para vacunarnos obligatoriamente, argumentando que es para protegernos. Pero si esto fuera cierto, ¿por qué no nos protege del glifosato de Monsanto Bayer, por ejemplo, que está matando a niños en Entre Ríos y Misiones? de la mega minería que está contaminando el agua de Hachal en San Juan y otras provincias, o del fracking que está haciendo estragos en Neuquén y ahora en Mendoza. No discutamos más sobre el pasado. Actualmente son los laboratorios que están haciendo las cosas mal y corrompen para que se imponga esta ley de vacunas obligatorias. ¿O usted acaso cree que Merck o Glaxo, que son los que fabrican vacunas, son mejores que Monsanto? Vea los crímenes de estos laboratorios documentados en el sitio de la Administración Federal de Drogas de Estados Unidos, fda.gov. Por ejemplo, Merck con el medicamento Vioxx, que mataron más de 30.000 personas sabiendo y perdieron el juicio y quedaron en evidencia los memorándums internos de la empresa donde figuraba que ya sabían que estaban causando todas estas muertes. Lo mismo con Glaxo.
FDA scientist David Graham testified that he estimates Vioxx caused more than 100,000 heart attacks, 30 to 40% of them fatal. But Graham told members of the Senate Finance Committee that his FDA superiors ridiculed him and insisted on changes.
I was pressured to change my conclusions and recommendations. One drug safety manager recommended that I should be barred from presenting the poster at the meeting and also noted that Merck needed to know our study results.
Graham offered a blistering condemnation of the FDA's drug safety program, saying that the system is broken and often overlooks the dangers of drug side effects.
The FDA, as currently configured, is incapable of protecting America against another Vioxx.
These legal documents spell out what Merck knew and when they knew it. In clinical trials during the late 90s, the company tested whether their anti-inflammatory drug Vioxx could prevent cognitive decline in patients with Alzheimer's disease. Life-threatening risks were documented but were never reported to the FDA or the public.
The company found a threefold increased risk in mortality and failed to see a safety signal. By scientific standards, this is a major safety issue.
Dr. Bruce Pasady and colleagues at the University of Washington reviewed numerous legal documents from litigation involving Merck and Vioxx. In a published report in 2004, Merck reported that Vioxx is, quote, generally well tolerated by the elderly patients in our study. But this internal company document tells a different story. It reveals Merck knew about an increased risk in mortality associated with Vioxx, and they knew this in 2001.
If these findings had been made public back in 2001, many fewer people would have taken Vioxx, and because it is associated with an increased risk of mortality and of heart attacks, many fewer people would have been harmed.
Don't hit her. Don't hit her. Don't hit her. Oh, for goodness sake. No, don't you hit her.
Could this situation be so bad that the police and family court had to act in this way? This wasn't a drug house or a violent situation. The child's physical safety wasn't in question, despite a warrant suggesting it might have been.
Don't you call me what you are. All right, just calm down, all right? This isn't good for anyone.
But the mother had breached a family court order by not returning the child to the father 2 days earlier.
They're taking her away. Just vomit, darling. Just vomit.
Well, my name is Nancy Schaefer, and I'm from the state of Georgia. I will share with you on the unlimited power of Child Protective Services, also called CPS, which I will use tonight. This is not to say that there are not those children in wretched situations who need to be removed. There are, and we all agree. But tonight, I'm talking about those children removed from their homes intentionally for profit. The Adoption and Safe Families Act. It offers financial incentives to the states that increase adoption numbers. To receive the adoption incentives or bonuses, local CPS must have more children. They must have more merchandise to sell. Funding is available when a child is placed in a foster home with strangers or placed in a mental health facility and medicated, usually against the parents' wishes. Once a child is legally kidnapped and placed in official safety, the child is far more likely to suffer abuse, including sexual molestation and/or rape. There is a huge bureaucracy made up of judges, court-appointed attorneys, guardian ad litems, social workers, state employees, court investigators, therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, foster parents, adoptive parents, and on, who are looking to the children in state care for their job security.